Okay, we're back with another review off of Friday Night Flashbacks. This evening, I played a little bit of Shinobi and a little bit of Shadow Dancer, both the arcade versions. Both of these games and some of the other games that you'll see us play from the arcades, um, they vary from system to system. Um, Shinobi was a game that was made back in the 80s to capitalize on the ninja craze, where ninjas were everywhere on things, on movies, video games, comic books, things of that nature. 80s kind of transcended into 90s as well, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a big thing growing up. For me as a kid, there was the cartoon and then the movies and things like that. So everybody was ninja, 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 ninja. Um, this one, these two games, they go together. I'm not sure which order, because there's a Shinobi and then there's, I think Shadow Dancer was made afterwards, and then I think Shinobi 2 was made, and then Shinobi 3. Um, Shinobi 2 and 3 I think they only appear on the Sega Genesis, and Shadow Dancer and Shinobi they appear on the arcade, but they appear on uh, Genesis as well. But the port for Shinobi on the Genesis and the port for Shinobi that was made by Tengen for the Nintendo they're very choppy, and they're very the color palette on them is very, very ugly. I played the arcade version to show you guys a little bit more of um, what it's supposed to be, um, and what's more pleasing to the eye, not as hard to look at. Um, One main difference is the gameplay is a little bit different. On the other one, on the home ports, you have a life bar, whereas on the arcade versions, you only had one hit, one death. And the thing was, they made that specifically that way for a reason. Um, Arcades were out to make money, and as kids are pumping in quarters and you're dying and stuff, um, they you pump in more quarters to play more, and so that's why the arcade versions are the way they are, as opposed to the home console versions. The home console versions had difficulty switch difficulty um, a selection for difficulty to where you could put it easy, medium, hard, things like that. Also, the arcade version was one of these that if you went to an arcade had they had switches that would make games harder or easier depending upon um, what they wanted to do. Most of them just left them at the default area, just so that it would be a moderately difficult game. Um, some of them would actually turn them up so that kids would keep playing because they'd want to go through the games, and they would end up using a bunch of quarters to go through them. Um, Shinobi is one of these that it's 3 or 4 stages per each. They set them as rounds, missions, if you will, and they're broken up into anywhere between 3 to 5 stages. The first one being 3 stages, and it's pretty self-explanatory. You just go from left to right on the screen. You kill enemies, and you save hostages. You just go by the hostages, and it frees them. And then once you free all the hostages, you can go to the next stage. If you free all the hostages and do not go to the next stage, but you get killed, all you have to do is get to the end of that area to do that. You also have you have the throwing stars are your main weapon. If you get close enough, you do hit somebody with like a sword or a dagger. Um, there are also ninjutsu that's on there that you can use, but I think you can only use it once uh, per area. Somebody can correct me if that's wrong because I'm not 100% sure. But you can use that. It clears all the enemies that are on the screen at at that time. Um, you face a boss at the end of the mission, and I only went through two of the bosses. One was the chopper, and one was the guy. The guy you had to kind of jump up, try him in the head. The chopper you have to jump up and hit it in the front of it. There is a place to hit it. I was trying to use save states on the game to at least show you guys some of them. I may play through these at some other point, but for right now, I was just wanting to show the gameplay. And like I said, for right now, that's what I was wanting you guys to see is just the gameplay. I will maybe try to go through them at another point. They're not that long, but they are fairly difficult. So I will be using save states on those to get through those games so that maybe we can do a playthrough of them and you can see how the rest of it goes. Shadow Dancer, a little bit different than Shinobi. You're going around defusing bombs this time. That's the thing about both games. Both games have a timer. You have to get to the end of the level before the time. Shadow Dancer introduces a dog into the game. The dog can be used to, like if there's an enemy that's on the ground, the dog will distract them and put them up to where you can hit them. If the dog is battling with the enemy too long, he'll revert to a puppy. And then you'll have to wait a little while before he reverts back to his original form. So you got to keep that in mind as well because you won't be able to use the dog until it's in its full form. Went through the first world on there and defeated the first boss. Again, just to give you guys some gameplay footage. We may go back and try to do a playthrough of it later as well. But those will be a little bit on down the road. The next Friday night, the next couple of Friday nights, you're going to see some different stuff. What's going to happen is Roy is the one that had talked to me about at one point about doing these. So we done those two tonight, and then like next Friday we're going to do the Revenge of Shinobi, and we're going to do Shinobi 3, and I will show you while those are different than the other ones, but still almost kind of the same, but they're different. And then the week after that, there will be 2 straight weeks there where we will be doing Friday night flashbacks for a couple of games that Roger has picked out. Roger would like to see the original Batman game. I'm not very good at it, but I will give it my best shot, and it is it's a difficult game at best, but like I said, I want to show you guys the gameplay. Then we may do a full playthrough on it. I'm not sure on that yet. I'm not sure. The one after that, we're going to do we're going to do 3 games in one the Friday after that. So that will be Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., and Donkey Kong 3. And those are the other 3 that we're going to do for Roger. We'll do all those in about 3 weeks from now. We'll do those, and we'll get those posted up there again. I'm going to do reviews for each of these. Even we might even do some other stuff in between now and then. It depends upon what kind of videos we can get out and what we can do on things. Like I said, I've told you guys, we're going to have this playthrough, we're going to have that playthrough, and we haven't had them yet. I haven't necessarily had the time to sit down and work through them and finish them. I still need to finish Final Fantasy 1, the playthrough on it. I'm going to have to sit down at some point where I have a couple of hours to actually go through and to actually also stream the game and the gameplay footage up to the third of like the 4 fiends. And I'm going to go through 1 or 2 of the extra dungeons. Probably won't go through but just 2 of them. I find that 1 or 2 of them's kind of the first 2 I think are kind of rough. Actually, I think it's the first one and a section of the third one are rough. So I'm not sure which ones we'll go through. We'll go through whichever ones are most beneficial that we can get items out of that are helpful, because there are some items that are in certain extra dungeons that are helpful and that will be helpful, and so we'll try to get those so that we can I won't say so that we can be overpowered at the end of the game, but so that we stand a better chance against the boss, and that the battle does not go on for longer than what it needs to. Because if you just have just the bare bones minimum of what you need to use against this boss, the battle is going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time. Whereas if you have everything that you need, and you have everything that you can possibly get that you would think that you could need, and you get some of the stronger weapons, the main fight at the end does not take that long. Also, it doesn't take that long to get through the last temple, whereas, again, if you have the bare bones minimum of weapons and things of that nature, it can take a little bit longer. And we're not... we don't speed run by any means on this channel, but we do try to make things a little bit easier on ourselves and more enjoyable, so that we can bring you playthrough videos and things like that. So that, and like I said, the way that we might do something on one game, me or Jim may do it, it may not be, or even Roger posts some on our Facebook and some stuff, and it may not be it's not going to be the only way to do it. It's just the way that we have done it that makes it easier for us, and it may make it easier for some of you. Like I said, I go one route on Mega Man games, Jim goes another route on Mega Man games. It's not necessarily the best route, and it may not work for you. Then again, you may try it, it may work for you. It's just our thoughts and our ideas on that. And that's what we try to bring, is our thoughts and our ideas on this, on this and that, on the games. So that you have an idea of, either games that you may have missed, games that you didn't get to try because they didn't make it to the States or so, just different things. And we just want to show you guys just different stuff. To close out this video, Shinobi and Shadow Dancer, they're very difficult games. They're not impossible. They're challenging and they're difficult, but they're not impossible. And they're good games. I think they're good games. And I'm going to add this in there for Roy. I like the bonus stages, even though I can't get through them. On Shinobi, you're looking at about 2 rows of ninjas coming out. If they're on the far back row, they jump forward once, and if they jump forward again, you fail. And then, but they'll come out from the sides, and you'll throw throwing stars. It'll be like a first person view, and you'll throw throwing stars at them. If they come down if they're already on the second row already when they come out, because they start coming out on the first row and the second row. If the ones on the second row jump just one time, you fail. Now, on Shadow Dancer, it's the same exact thing, except this time you're looking up. You're looking up and you're throwing them upwards at ninjas that are going across what looks like a building. It looks like a couple of tiers to a building. And it's basically the same thing, just a little bit different view, but it's the same thing. So that's the stages, the bonus stages on there, and things of that nature. So, like I said, though, both of them I thought were good games, difficult and challenging, not impossible, and good games. And so, and like I told you, next Friday we'll do Revenge of Shinobi and Shinobi 3. We'll do those 2 next Friday. So we may see you before then, but until then, we will see you later.